This conference will now be recorded.
So, in the last class, we started with the Angular framework, and we have seen the main use of Angular is to develop the front-end web applications. The front-end part is taken care by Angular, and it's a TypeScript based. The code what we write in Angular is TypeScript, and we have done with the Angular setup. So to go with Angular, we require Node.js and any text editor which can open folders like Visual Studio Code, and we have to install Angular CLI. And we have created one project. Let me open that project in Visual Studio Code. So we have opened this Angular project. So in this one, the root component of Angular project is app component. App component, that is the root component of Angular. So the file is this app component. Then the presentation of app component is done by using app.component.html file. So whatever the content present in this app.component.html, this content will be displayed on the browser. Then the styling part, the styling is done by using app.component.css file. Right? Now let us run this. How to run? We have to go to the prompt where your project is present. Open the command prompt. Now to compile and run our application, we have to use the command ngserv. Once the compilation is successful, open browser and type this URL http://localhost 4200. So this is the result what you are getting. Now today let us move to the next one. We'll see three topics today. One is Angular directives. Next one, how to go with Angular forms. Then we go with routing, very important one. Let us initially go with Angular directives. So we are having the Angular directives like ngFor and *ngif are Angular directives. Now let us understand where to use this Angular directives with an example application. Create a new component address. So at your prompt, how to create component is ng generate component address. What command we have to use to create a new component? Ng generate component address. Now let me show this. Terminate the compilation, Control C. Now whenever you want to create new component, use the command ng generate component address. Press enter key, which is going to create the files under app folder. App is the root component. Under app, it's going to create a subfolder address. Under that, the files will be created. Address.component.ts, address.component.html, CSS file like this. Let me open that. So here under app, address folder will be created. Here you can see the files address.component.ts, address.component.html, address.component.css. These three are important files. Coming to this address component, the class address component. Here, let us go with a property user of type any. User of type any. Then in constructor, we'll give the value to this user like this. This dot user equal to the name of the user, some name, address, some address, then phone. This is important, phone. So let us suppose the user is having multiple phones. So when you want to manage multiple data, we go with arrays. In TypeScript, we go with arrays by using square brackets. Here you can provide the phone number. So I'm going with the 2 phone numbers here. So we are having a property user of type any, and we are going to store these values. Now let us display these values, the user values, onto the browser. So where to do that? In address.component.html. So come to this address.component.html. Then here you display the value. Let us create one division. Division means collection of HTML elements where we display user.name. So we are applying data binding. User.address. Let us create one more division where we create a paragraph and will display phone. So since phone is an array, to take the phone array value, we have to say user.phone of 0, going with index based. Then one more user.phone of 1. Right? Now compile the application. Come to command prompt and say ng serve. Just to go to the respective file and type the code. That's it. Now, after successful compilation, we have to refresh this because we have compiled once again. So we have to refresh this. But we are getting only app component. This is the content of app only. But address component is not getting displayed to us. Address component is not getting displayed because when you run the application will stop only at app component. Only the content of app component will be displayed. So it's not going to address component. So from app component, how to go to address component is, what is the selector name say? App address. So this element we have to use here. From app component, when you say here app address, then it's going to load your address component. Now see, we are getting the result here. See. So not looking good. So go with what? The styling part. How to do styling? Go to CSS file and provide the styles here for H3. Text color. I'm just going with color concept, right? H4 green. Paragraph blue. Just I'm giving colors. Now see, we are getting the data here. Right? Now understand carefully. If I add one more phone number, then will this third phone number will you get over here? No. So to get that phone number, what I should do? I have to go back to HTML file again. Again, I have to create one more paragraph element and say user.phone of 2. User.phone of 2. Now see, we are going to get the third phone number here. We are getting third phone number. Now means whenever my component is getting updated, every time I'm going to HTML file and modifying the code over here. So I don't want to do like that. So how many phone numbers your phone array may have, I should be able to manage over here. So how to manage that? By using directives. So keep this code in comments. Now let us go with division phone. Now go with the Angular directives like this. Star ng if for reiteration means for say here let phone number of user.phone. Let phone number of user.phone, and here we have to say here phone number. Means what will happen, since this user.phone is an array, it is going to pull out one element from this array and stores into this phone number until all the numbers gets completed. So to iterate this array, we make use of this Angular directive ngFor. Now see, we are getting the same result. If you go with two phone numbers, here, I need not touch my HTML file. See, you are going to get here in the result two phone numbers. If I go with only one phone number, I need not touch the HTML file. We get one phone number. If I am not having any phone numbers here, if I'm not having any phone numbers, then we get only the label phone. If there are no phone numbers, I don't want to display this label phone. I don't want to display this. Then we have to check the condition. Means I don't want to display this division at all if there are no phone numbers. Now here we want to go with the condition checking. Then we use ngIf. ngIf user.phone.length greater than 0. User.phone.length greater than 0. So if the length of the array is greater than 0, then only I should display this phone, else not required. So here you are not getting phone label. Now if I go with phones, I'll see you get the phones here. To iterate, we use ngIf. To check a condition, we go for ngIf. Clear this example, all of you? Right? So more practice is required. So Angular is not easy. If you have to recap it. If you recap 1 or 2 times, you feel easy with Angular. I'll be sharing the codes. Address.component.ts file, address.component.html file, address.component.css file, and finally app.component.html. This is updated one. Let us move to the next one. Angular forms. Angular forms. Angular forms are used to accept user input. Angular forms are mainly for what purpose? To accept the user input and submit the form data to the component. So we have to submit the form data to component, so that component will take care of doing the processing of your data. Okay. Very important point. To use Angular forms, we need to add forms module. We need to add forms module into app.module.ts file. We need to add this module. So let me show this. Under app folder, you can see the file app.module.ts file. Here under this imports, we need to add say comma forms module. So we have to select this, and the respective import will happen automatically. If not happening, type it manually. Now let us go with the example application. Create a new component book. How to create component? Ng generate component book. You can even say ng generate component book. This is shortcut way of doing it. Instead of typing the complete word generate component, we can even simply use GC also. Now, book.component.ts file, book.component.html file, and app.component.html file, which is updated. Let us do this step. Let us generate the component. Terminate the compilation, Control C. Now generate the component, ng generate component book. The files will be created. Now go to Visual Studio Code. Now here under app, you can see one more folder book. Under book, you can see the files book.component.html, book.component.ts file. Now let us design the form here. In HTML file, we have to design form hash book equal to ng form. We are indicating that the form what you are creating is Angular form. Ng indicates Angular. The form what you are creating is Angular form, and the ID given to that Angular form is book. Then the ID given is what? Book here. Now ng submit equal to on click submit book dot value means when you click on the submit button, that is the meaning of ng submit. It's an action. We have to invoke a function on click submit. To that we are passing book dot value. So what is this book? The name given to the form, the ID. Then design the form book ID, input type equal to text, name equal to BID. Our bracket parenthesis open, ng model equal to BID. What is this ng model here? So what is this ng model is? We call it as two-way data binding. Two-way data binding means the data will go from our HTML form to component, and the data will come from component to form back, both the directions. So what are the data coming from form? Sorry, from component, that will be stored in this variable BID. Then, similar way, go with the book name, input type equal to text, name equal to bname, ng model equal to bname. Book price, input type equal to text, name equal to price, ng model equal to price. Input type equal to submit, value equal to submit. When you click on this submit, it is going to invoke a function on click submit. To this you are passing book dot value. What is book? The name given to the form. So when I say book dot value, these three values will be stored in book now. BID, bname and price, three values are stored in book now. Now come to this book.component.ts file. Here you go in the book component class, you go with the properties, book ID of type string. I'm going with a empty space. Book name, it's of type string, empty space. Price of type string, empty space. Now, let us create a function on click submit. I'm creating a function on click submit. To this we are taking the book. We are taking book here. Now what is this book here? The data coming from HTML, this one. This is stored into this argument book. Now the data present in this book, I want to store into these properties. So how to store? Simple. This dot BID equal to book dot BID. This dot bname equal to book dot bname. This dot price equal to book dot price. So the data what you have filled in the form, now they are present in these properties. Now let us display these values. So I want to show this book data in tabular format, the book details in tabular format. So create a table. So with the caption of table means the name to the table. Then let us create a table row. In first row, we go with the table heading, book ID, and table data, the value of BID. So since we have applied two-way data binding, the data present in component will come and store over here again. So that only I'm printing. Then create a new row, book name, BD, the value of BD. book price, the value of price. Now what we need to do, whenever we create a new component, what is the selector name? App book. So we have to add that element over here. So keep this one in comments. I don't want to load address component, so keep in comments and simply say app book. That's it. Now compile your application in this set. Now open browser, refresh. See, we are getting the form. So fill the data, book ID 111. See, immediately you are getting the result here because we have applied two-way data binding. Book name, book price. Right? Even if you click submit, same result. Got it, everyone? Any questions? No. Let us move to the next one, and very important one. This is very important. That is Angular routing. Angular routing. What is the use of routing? Routing is used to navigate between the pages. Routing is used for what purpose? To navigate between the pages. The routing is used to develop single page applications. What is single page application? I have shown yesterday, no? So if you take this your Angular home page, sorry, Angular official page. So a page is divided into some components. So this is one component, this is one more component, this is one more component, right? So a web page is divided into components when we go with this, when you want to develop applications using Angular. Now, when you go, like for example, getting started and what is Angular? Only the part of page here, try it. Only this is getting refreshed, see here. Only this part of page is getting refreshed. Such type of applications only we call single page applications. Instead of loading the complete web page, only part of page is getting loaded. Such type of application is single page applications. So to develop these single page applications only, we make use of routing. Okay. Now, let us understand this with the example application. Create the following new components. You want to create the new component. So whenever you want to create a new component in Angular, we have to use the command ng generate component home. So instead of typing complete word, what I said, you can simply use gc also. Simply use even gc generate component. So I've already mentioned here about the shortcut. Like that, let us create some more components. Ng generate component about. Ng generate component dashboard. We are not worried about the content of these components. Our work is to understand about routing. So just to create the components and we'll see how the routing is done. Now, terminate the compilation, Control C. Now create the components, ng generate component home, ng generate component about, ng generate component dashboard. We have done with the components. So we are not worried about the content of the components now. Now, let us go with the important file here. This is the major file for routing. Create a router configuration file, router config.ts in app folder. I said no, app is the root component. Under app folder, we have to create a file called as router config any name. The file name can be anything, but extension we go with TS, TypeScript file. So right click on app and say new file. Go with the name of the file, router config.ts. Start writing the code here. So export constant. We are creating a variable app routes, any name. The variable name can be any name, and it's of type routes. Of type routes. This is a predefined module here. And see, the respective import will happen automatically. Then equal to square bracket open and close. Then say open curly brace. No need to remember syntaxes. Okay, no need to remember. Keep documents handy. Open and close curly brace. Path. If the path is home, the component what we want to load is home component. If the path is home, we want to load home component. See, the respective imports happen automatically. Then, comma. If path is about, the component what we want to load is about component. Dash. If the path is dashboard, we want to load the component dashboard component. Right? I'll explain this file once again. Later. Now, once we create this router configuration file, then the next step is update app.module.ts file by adding the router module. We need to update which file? App.module.ts file by adding the router module here. Under app folder, you can see the file app.module.ts file. In this, under imports, we need to add here router module. So whenever you want to work with routing, we need to add this module, router module. Say router module.forroute. To this, we need to pass our app routes. Now we have created this app routes. It's of type routes that we need to add over here. This line of code, only this line of code we need to add. Router module.forroute app routes. Then the respective imports will happen automatically. The next step, update app.component.html file. App.component.html. Let me open app.component.html. I don't want to load book component, so keep it in comments. Simple control slash will make that line into comment. Now let us create one division. Style equal to text align center. Style equal to text align center. Now create one navigation bar. Here, this is important. A router link equal to home. The hyperlink I'm giving home. A router link equal to about. The hyperlink is about. A router link equal to dashboard. Right? So I'm going with 3 hyperlinks. Now understand carefully. When I click on this home, hyperlink home, the router link name is home. The router link name is home. Then it will go to this router config.ts file. router config.ts file, sees the path name as home, then which component will be loaded in our web page? Home component. Now, if I click on about, the router link name is about, then comes to this router config.ts file. When the path name is about, the link name is about component will be loaded. Similar way, when you click on dashboard, it's going to load dashboard component. That's the meaning of this path here. On which you are clicking, based on the name of this router link, the respective component will be loaded in our web page. Then, to go with routing, we need to use one element here, router outlet. To apply routing concept in our application, we need to use one element, router outlet. Now, the next step, run the application in this set, open browser and type the following URL. Let us compile in this set. See, after compilation successful, refresh this page. Refresh. See here, in this one, this is one component. Sorry, this is one component. We have added everything in the app component only. This is one component. Now see, when I click on home, see, we are getting, see, home works. Is this component getting reloaded? No. Only this component is getting reloaded. Only this area is getting reloaded. Based on the action, what you do, see here, about works, dashboard works. So based on the link what you are clicking, only that respective component is getting loaded, not the complete page is getting reloaded here. Only part of the page is getting reloaded. This type of applications only we call single page applications. And we develop these single page applications using routing. Got it, everyone? Any questions? Ravi Kumar, you have joined late, right, today?
Yes, sir. I got late today. I was in a session, so
Yes. No problem, no problem. Please go through the previous concept once again.
yeah,
Any question you can ask in the next class, okay? You can
sure,
easily understand, no, nothing to worry much.
sure.
Right. Now let us do some coding on home component. Let us go to home and let us write some code here. Let us do some presentation. So go to this home, where we have to do the presentation, home.component.html. So here let me say H3, welcome to XYZ trainings. H4, courses offered. Here we'll say UL type equal to square. We'll say LI programming languages, LI databases, LI web technologies. So like that, just to go to the respective component, whichever the component you want to write the code, just go to the respective component and write the code for your component. The content what you want to display for your component, do that part. Now see, come to our page, see how it is getting displayed. Not looking good, right? So to go with good presentation, what we have to use? CSS. We have to make use of what? CSS. Simple. Just to go to which file, for which component I want to do the styling, for home component. So open home.component.cs. That is the beauty of Angular. Just to go to the respective file and do the changes. That's it. The integration is taken care by your Angular only. So what for this, I'll say H3 text align left. Why we are getting everything center? Because in app component, I've given the division style as center here. That is the reason complete result you are getting in center. Complete result is center. Okay, but what I wanted to know, I want to do the changes for your styles. So go to this home.component.cs. For h3, text aligns left, color red, h4, text align left, color green, HUI element unordered list, text align left, color blue. Some styles your wish. Now see how good it is looking here. That is the need of going with CSS, or even you can use Bootstrap also. Got it clear? Now when you click on home, this content will come. When you click on about, we are saying about works, so that you have to go to about and change the content. Dashboard works. Like that, you have to go to the respective component and do the changes based on the requirement. What you want to present for your component, that we have to do the changes. This is important for us, how routing is working. This file is important for routing. Got it, everyone? Any questions? Right? So please practice this. Very, very important. Routing is very, very important concept. You should keep all my documents handy with you. When the requirement comes, you should be able to take my document and do the changes based on your requirement. Okay, please practice this. And next class Monday, we'll go with the last one, where I'm going to discuss Angular HTTP client module, which is mainly used to invoke the services running on Java server or any other server. In our case, we'll see Java server. Right? Thank you all. Thank you very much.